All right, everyone, welcome back to the Rodeo Talk episode 3. Today is a special episode. We have our first guest, and today's guest is someone very special. If you're looking to make 2025 the year where you take massive action and really start living the life that you're dreaming of, we have someone special on that's actually done it themselves, and to me is a true action taker. We've having to chase him down from time zones all the way from Norway, the top of Norway, the cold top of Norway, to the scorching hot heat in Dubai. He's on the move all the time. He's a real solid, humble guy in our opinion, a hard worker and the true definition of a paradigm breaker. He's probably the king of content in Norway, and now he's actually dominating on a global level. We've got him all the way from Bali today to speak with us, and we're so glad to have him here. Everyone, welcome Sebastian Strøm.
Hey, thank you so much
How
for
are you
that
doing, bro?
kind introduction. I'm doing absolutely awesome. I'm really happy to be here. Really happy to talk to you guys again. It's been a minute. It's been a while since we spoke last, and I'm really happy to be here on a podcast today. It's not my usual office, as you guys can see. I'm at the beach in Bali, but it fits the brand, as Mikkel said, and always on the move. And today the Wi-Fi at the villa decided to shut down, so decided to go out here instead. And as I said, the most important thing is that we bring a good brain, a good mind, and a mouth to speak it.
This
So
guy just
yeah, I'm really happy to be
takes
here. Thank
action
you for
no
having me.
matter what.
Absolutely. I
Yeah,
think that's
true.
the most important reason why we're here today because you have a brain, you're very good at communicating, you also have your own stuff going on. I see the stuff with the podcast as well, so you're also very used to this. And I
Congratulations.
think a lot of people have seen you on social media and oh shit, who's this guy? But today we're actually going to cover the person behind Sebastian Strøm. So we know you. We've been talking back and forth for the past year. We're brothers, so of course Max and I know you really well. But for the people who are listening or watching this, they have probably seen you, but maybe they don't know that much about you. So we're going to learn more about that. I'm very excited. I know you, Max know you as well, but
Very
you
hyped.
can actually, in your own words, say, okay, who is Sebastian Strøm?
Yeah, for sure. It's a good question, and it's also something that I try to figure out every single day. Right now, I would say Sebastian Strøm is hopefully a genuine guy that just wants to spread the knowledge and positivity in the world and teach people that you can follow your dreams and do whatever you want to do in life as long as you actually set your mind to it and actually take action on what you want to do. Um, right now, I run, I'm an entrepreneur. I run a couple of businesses. I run a marketing agency. I run a clothing brand, e-commerce. Then I also run a info product for myself, which is a program that teaches people how to start a marketing agency from scratch, from zero, basically. For myself, I've run my marketing agency for a while now, and I've scaled it up to about 30K per month in MRR. And with the info product as well, we've scaled that up quite a bit now. We're just relaunching it again now for like V2 of it. And yeah, like that's very short in a few words who I am, I guess.
That's good. That's really good. It's safe to say that you got a lot of stuff going on. Not only your marketing agency. A lot of people may know you for your info product, where you have, of course, ads and all these things. But we also know you from the clothing brand, from also the marketing agency,
Mm.
being in the trenches. And I think it's very safe to say that Max and I are very inspired by your work ethic. I don't know if you can also say some words about that, Max.
Oh, for sure, man. I remember meeting Sebastian for the first time. I think we were on Cyprus on a mastermind. I might have met you before that, but especially on that trip, you really stuck out to me, bro. Like, we were a solid group of people, everyone in their own right, killers. But there was just this energy. I think you just made like a record of the first and quickest person to hit like 10K from 0 to 10K. And that period of January and February, you were just locking in. And yeah, you were humble, you were honest, and you were just hardworking. I could just tell from the beginning. So we're so hyped to have you on here, man. We had to make the first ep a special one But you're on the Rodeo Talk, so we're going to talk a little bit of rodeo as well, of course. To us, the rodeo means, the meaning of life, what you're trying to strive, what is your success, and would actually like to start off by getting to know how you define your rodeo. What is success for you? Because we all believe success is very important. We're action takers. But what does that look like for you when you look at the word success? How do you define that? What is your rodeo in life, man?
Yeah, that's also a very, very good question, man. It's something that I also try to like think about every single day. I think finding your passion and finding your meaning in life is something that you have to do every single day and work on every single day. I think you never have it figured out 100%. It's always something that kind of evolves under time. I would say actually it's very interesting because I think one of, at least right now, one of my kind of if you would say like meanings in life, or the things that I kind of really have a passion for and a drive for is to help others actually get out of a fucking rut and just stop being depressed and just
Yeah.
stop hating their life. For me, that has of course been through teaching people business, teaching people, or just preaching about mindset, preaching about fucking doing the work and stop feeling sorry for yourself. Because that's a very big thing for me is, yeah, just helping people realize that you can do what you want to do. And I think it all comes back to when I started out. I remember very vividly, I was laying in my bed. I was not, I wouldn't say depressed, but I was feeling very, down in the,
Yes.
in the fucking trenches. And I was just feeling
Mm-hmm.
shit. And at that point, I was like, what the fuck am I going to do with my life? I know I'm destined for more, but what the fuck is it? How do I find it? What the fuck am I going to do? And you're kind of in that, it's like a paradox because you're not doing the work. You're stuck, like for instance, like you're stuck scrolling social media and you're not doing the work, even though you should be doing the work. And I kind of got out of it because of the thing that kind of held me back, which was social media. And I kind of saw that, okay, shit, other people are doing it. Other people have success doing, like, let's say, running a marketing agency. And I was like, fuck it, I'll start it myself. That was kind of what brought me out of it. And when I really then found my passion for, like, marketing, for helping people, which is basically what we do in a marketing agency. We help people scale their business, right? And that has been kind of my main, like when I now reflect back on my life, that has always been like my main, like in Norway we say rød tråd, like a red line, I guess you would
Yeah.
say.
The red
It's
thread,
just
yeah,
been like,
yeah.
yeah, it's just been like helping people really. Since way back when I worked as an online coach, in the gym, I just wanted to help people get fit, get a better body, old women wanting to get more mobile and live better lives, and obese people get healthy, be able to run around in the backyard with their kids. It's always just been kind of that, yeah, that like North Star kind of guiding me is like just helping people,
Yeah.
which I'm very happy that is like, that has been my goal, because a lot of people say that that's their goal, and I don't think a lot of people really mean it. But I at least know that,
Yeah.
deep in my soul and deep in my heart, I know that's what I really, uh, what really drives me and what's really my fuel in hard times as well. It's very easy to get out of bed, and it's very easy, as you guys said, you see me doing all the work, and it's very easy to do all the work when you're not driven by egotistical reason, but you're driven by because you really believe that other people, you it's almost like you believe that you need to wake up every single day and fucking do the work because you have other people kind of relying on you, and that you actually need to fucking show them that, hey, you guys can do this. And I have there's this thing I always think about, like, let's say if I'm in the gym, or let's say if I'm about to do some work on my agency, whatever. I always think about all the people that, my students, for instance, that they look up to me, and they if I can't do the work, of course they can't. But if I can do the work, then of course they can. So
Yeah.
that's kind of my main, I guess, philosophy in life, and what really drives me and me as a person, and what makes me wake up every single day.
That's good. That's really, really good.
Sick,
And
man.
also looking
Really sick.
back on what you're actually doing, because for the people who are watching this or listening to it, maybe they don't know your social media, your businesses, but you have an info product, you have an agency, you also have a clothing brand. Every single one of these businesses, they either solve a huge problem or serve a need. For your clothing brand, you serve a need, so you look good in fitness with your clothing. You get confidence from it. confidence makes you feel good. When you feel good, you perform better. That's a clothing brand. Also, what you do with your marketing agency is that you help businesses get more clients and sales so they can, of course, grow the business, have more freedom, more stability, more security and safety and wealth in their life. But you also do it for people who are looking to start a business. You solve a big problem. Maybe they're lost. Maybe they don't know what their journey is, the rodeo. So you actually help them. If you want to start your own thing, start actually with
Mm.
providing a service that solves a problem. So you
Mm.
practice and do what you preach. Like you're really good at the marketing, so of course it makes sense for you also to have an info product where you help people start their own agency and succeed that way.
Mm.
So there's this red line between what you're doing and also what you're saying, and I think that is also what people will see when they watch your content. It's not fluffy.
Mm.
It's not just for marketing to get attention and get more sales for your own sake. It's actually because you want to help people, and I think that's also what you need if you want to get like massive success, because there's ups and downs in a road, especially on the rodeo. So if we have this purpose, it doesn't fucking matter like what's going on. We just keep moving. We have people who depend on us. We have a business that we need to take care of. We have a family, a legacy that we want to build. And I think that's also what I can feel when you say that you genuinely want to help people.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I appreciate the words too, and I feel like that's like my that's a good summary of how I also feel, and what drives my businesses as well. It's like back to the clothing brand, for instance. The name is the shock factor, which means shocking people with your results, and that's kind of what the brand has always been about since 2019 or 2020 when we kind of launched it. Just shocking people with your own results, being the underdog and coming out from nowhere and showing people that, hey, we can fucking get fit, we can get healthy, even though no one believed in us. And that was kind of, yeah, that's like that part of the brand. And it kind of always has just been something that has, yeah, as I said, been the red thread in my life yeah, to that extent.
Uh, I'm just very
That's sick,
curious
bro. That's so
because
sick.
looking back at you and what you're doing, we see this massive determination that you just go after it, whatever it takes. Where do you think this inner drive comes from?
That's a very good question, man. Um, I think it comes from different places. I think it comes from, you know, one part of it is probably God that has given me this purpose in life, and I know that I have to show up and do my part of the equation, yeah, and which is my purpose in life. And when you kind of know that and believe in that, I think that's something that also can drive you so much. But I also think it's, yeah, no, it's a very good question. It's, I just don't see another option. It's like,
Yeah,
yeah, you can chill a bit, you can lay on the bed and relax, but not really. I don't know how to explain it. I kind of don't have another option. There's no way back. There's only forward. And you have to not waste a single day in your life. You just because there's every day you waste and every day you don't do as good as you could do, will never get that day back. Yeah, you can. People say you
definitely.
can work twice as hard tomorrow, but you could do that anyways, right? So it's also like that, just being very scared of losing out on your potential, because you only have a maximum potential, and every single day you don't do all the work you were supposed to do, you lose out on that potential, and that's a very shit situation to be in. It's a very shit situation to suddenly be 40 years old and you're like, fuck, I said for 20 years now that I was going to start, and you never kind of did, and that sucks. And then you see other people around you, and they
Mm.
they started and they actually got results, and they went after it, and they have a fucking beautiful life now and a beautiful mindset and a beautiful passion. And you didn't never kind of got
Mm.
to that because you never took action, because you just lost out because you were lazy. So I think that's kind of what drives me as well, like scarcity of not becoming who I know I could be.
Sick, bro. That's so sick, man. I really like a few things you said there. I think, bro, something that we see amongst the most successful people that we speak with, and something I see in you, is that you see success as your ethical obligation. It's like your duty. It's like you have to show up every single day and do everything you can, or else you're ethically acting wrongly, right? As you're saying, if it's belief in God, if it's belief in anything, if you're not striving to do everything you can every single day towards what you know you want to do, if that's helping people, whatever that might be, you're actually acting unethically in some extent, right? And I actually heard something recently. I think it was a podcast with Neil deGrasse Tyson, I think, where he really gave the example of how many people could be born in this universe, right? And he said 1 billion, trillion people could be born, and we are those 7 billion people which have had a chance at life, had one chance to give our all in life and to suck up all the beautiful things. And we won that lottery that most people didn't even know existed. All those trillion people that could have been born, they didn't even know there was a lottery, but we won that lottery. So if that's not motivation towards doing everything you can do before you get the chance to die, I don't know what is. And I think you really encapsulate that idea of doing everything you can. That got me really hyped as well, though. But we want to take it a little bit back, though, because obviously your drive is incredible, and we are really always talking about whether this drive comes from something in your childhood. Is it something where you woke up one day and obviously you decided to take action, but there's still a drive there? I don't know, when you look back, if you take us back to the north of Norway in Tromsø or in Alta, and maybe talk us through if there's any things that you remember that's the most influential parts of that period that made you get the courage and build up that drive to break out that cycle that you want people to break out of. Is anything that come to mind there, bro?
That's a really good question. It's a really, really good question. And I agree 100%. I think that's something that's really interesting to talk about, like where it kind of stems from. And I know for me, like, if you take it like way back, it's all started with like fitness, my fitness journey, kind of the self-improvement journey that you indulge on when you stepped into the gym. I was about 16 years old at the time. I was very insecure. The only reason why I really got to the gym was because I wanted to talk to girls. I wanted to get better confidence. I wanted to look better in the mirror. And that's when I started going to the gym. It was not because I wanted to have a healthy body. It was just because I wanted to look good for other people. And that started out, that's not a good place to kind of start out, because you start out with external validation instead of having that internal validation, which is really important. But a lot of people have to start out that way. You have to start out a lot of times with that external validation and that external drive. So I started out there, like building confidence in who I was as a person. Started going to the gym, been going out consistently for like 9 years, and going consistently for 5, 6, 7 years before even starting a business. When you then start a business, you have this fucking stack of proof that, okay, you can do something very hard for a long time and be consistent with it. And then you just, okay, now I can start whatever because I can be a consistent guy. But back to your question, because I kind of got another way there, but back to your question, it all started with like, everything I've done has I think started with like insecurity. It started off with like me wanting to show other people that I was better than maybe they thought I was, or that I thought I was. So I started going to the gym because of that. Maybe I started out a business in the beginning because I wanted to show people, oh, look how smart I am. I can start a business. Look how great I am. Look how successful I am. And I think that's kind of what started it, was just insecurity. As you kind of get older and you reflect a lot and you work on yourself, of course, you hopefully get a bit away from that. And I think I have put that kind of away now, and I've actually started doing it for the right reasons. I've started doing it because I want to, and because it's my drive to do it, and my mission and vision. But I think it all started off with like insecurity, really. And I can remember very clear, like also laying in my my bed before I started my marketing agency. So even after I've started the e-commerce brand, and when I was going to start my marketing, or before I started my marketing agency, I was laying in bed I had like tried out day trading. I have tried e-commerce, of course, with the clothing brand, which had done okay, but not very good. And I was like, what the fuck am I gonna do with my life? I know I want to do something else, but nothing is working. I had to try like fucking streaming at that point, like streaming fucking League of Legends. Tried every
Yeah.
No
side
way.
hustle in the world, bro. And I was like, nothing is working. What am I gonna do? And yeah, then it was just because I was fucking scared. I was like, I'm gonna have a family. I'm gonna need to take care of other people. I need to start something. I need money. I need to be able to pay the bills. And I'm very happy that I started with a marketing agency at that point, because it has evolved to a bigger purpose than just, okay, I need money on the table for me and my family. I need
Yeah.
that urgency to fucking, okay, I need food. I need a fucking rent. I need at that point I was working at Circle K, fucking miserable, hating my life, flipping burgers at night time. So I started my marketing agency, and I remember I was doing outreach and like editing on my PC on job, because I was working like night shift. And after I was doing
Yeah.
that, I was like, there was a customer. I started going flipping burgers for them. Then I went back on doing the outreach and editing, because I needed money while getting up. But then because I was working
Incredible.
so hard, I just fucking quit that job instantly, because I scaled to 10K in a month. So I was like, fuck this
Yeah.
job now, never working there again. But sometimes I actually miss
Amazing.
it, but that's another story.
Sick, bro.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
It just
That was a
shows
bit
It
you
back
was
and
like
simpler
forth,
what
but I hope it
times. It
made
was
sense.
simpler times. It was simpler times for sure.
bro, how old were you at that time?
I was 23, I think I must have been. Yeah.
Okay. So for the people who are watching and listening, how long time is that ago?
That's just about a year. It's been or 15 months, maybe. 15 months.
15
Yeah.
months. It's been one hell of a
Incredible.
journey.
Since I
Just
flipped my
incredible.
last burger.
Yeah. Amazing. But what I really noticed that you were also saying is that it's all about catching people where they are right now. When you started out, it wasn't about building a tribe, safety. It was more like the materialistic things like money, success, actually building something. And that's perfectly fine. It was the same thing for me. And I think for people who want to start maybe a marketing agency or a business, it doesn't really matter what you want. The only thing that matters is what your target audience wants, and give them what they want. So if they want the materialistic things, you need to frame things. Your solution should be framed to what exactly they want, and catch people where they are right now. Because the first step to here may be money, it may be paying the bills. If it was fitness, I can totally relate to that. I was also fat and out of shape. And my goal was also to look good so I could have more confidence with girls as well. Um, but sooner I found out it was more like a lifestyle. I like being fit, I feel good. So it turns into like an
Mm.
internal thing. But in the beginning, what really got me started was to look good, like the status I would get from having a six pack or being in shape. And yeah, I think it's a very good way to see it, like catch people where they are. If they want the Lamborghini and want to start a business because of that, that's fine. But yeah, of course, you'll soon find out that you need the internal drive. You need something bigger than yourself. Otherwise, you'll just lose it. But I think that was really, really
Mm.
like inspirational. What was exactly the turning point? Because you flipped burgers 15 months ago, which is absolutely incredible. What a journey. So, what was going through your head at Circle K? You were flipping burgers. When there were no customers, you were starting to edit on the computer, start to yeah, looking to start the business. So, where
There's so
in
much
your
drive, man.
journey
It must.
did it turn to be profitable?
Dude, I, it started out. It's a good question. But I remember that because I had a side job at that time. So I was working at Circle K, and I was also working as a video editor. Actually, I was paid maybe 100 kroners per hour as video editing. That was fucking shit. And I heard the numbers that the boss was doing. He was doing like crazy big numbers. Well, not now they're not crazy, but back then they were crazy, like a couple 100,000 per month. And I was paid like fucking 15K, and I was doing the main job because there was like a fucking editing, content agency. So I was like, okay, there's probably something going on here, and then I was like, fuck this shit, because I got treated pretty bad as well. There was like a lot of conflict with internal and shit. So I was like, okay, if this guy can do it, then I know I can do it myself too. Fuck it, let me start something on my own. I I didn't do it. I went to bed. I was scrolling through my phone once again, like a week later after I said I was gonna start, scrolling through my phone, depressed again, and then I was like, I remember I saw this ad on like this info product course. That was this blonde guy telling me on the ad that I make more than your father and your mother in a month. And I was like, okay, it sounds pretty good. If it's true, I'll check it out. I wasn't gonna buy. I was just checking out the course, like a video course on it. And I went on a call. I fucking bought that shit. It was more money than I had. So I think the course was like 7.5K US. I think to my name, I probably had around 3K US. So I was like, okay, shit, now I have to make 4.5K to actually pay the shit. And I also don't have any more money. So I think, but it was because I was just so fucking ready to take action. I was just so ready to fucking get results. I was so fucking down, in the trenches, that I was like, okay, I just need someone to kind of guide me in the right direction here. I know I can fucking make it. I know I know I have the mindset to it. I know I have the skills in me to do it. And I was just fucking bought that shit. A month later, I was doing 10K per month in agency, and I had made it back. So I was fucking happy. And that was a long fucking month. I remember very clear. It was creeping up on December, and I remember like my girlfriend at that time, she had we were supposed to do a lot of Christmas stuff. I was like, no, we don't have time to do that. I have to do the work. I have to do service delivery. I have to edit these videos. I have to do this stuff. I have to get more clients. Let's wait a bit on this. And I never fucking did anything with her. I worked every day for that Christmas too, besides Christmas Day, 24th. I didn't work that day, but I worked every single other day. Didn't go out on New Year's. I was working then too. And then night until 1st of January, I started my business in Norway. So I didn't have to do the accountant stuff for 2023 year. So I was just ready, like 12:01. I fucking pressed start my business on the website, and I opened it. So
that's
so
sick,
that was
man.
that was when
Incredible.
Yeah.
That is so good. And it just tells me one thing, and I think the most important thing is action. Like, we all have fear, like what's going to happen once I take action, but you need to, as you probably know better than anyone, because I remember that you have a tattoo with that, break the paradigm. So
it's right there, bro.
My
yes,
man. Yeah,
absolutely,
a
that's what
real
I'm talking
paradigm
about.
breaker.
Absolutely, I know you. So I think
Yeah,
it's
I
just
tattooed it like 3 years ago, bro.
Yeah. You had it for a long time, I think. You had it for a long time. I remember seeing it on Cyprus on that trip, and I was like, damn, this guy's for real. You were putting out so much volume on that trip. You were just working every time we weren't having a speech or a workshop. You were on the computer, and you really stuck out, bro. But one thing that I'm very curious about, because I know back at that time when you started the business, 1st of January, I know probably that month and maybe until you came to the mastermind in February, you had like 14-hour days. I think you said you got up in the morning, said hello, got into the setup and just grinded for 14 days, maybe got a quick workout, and then bang, back to bed for like every single day. True definition of trenches, and your drive is obviously completely unmatched in that period. I think that is some days myself and Mikkel also look back on when we
yes,
were living together and we were grinding like that. And it's sometimes you look back on it and you're so satisfied because you were putting your full output out, and that's so rewarding in some sense. It really gives you like a sense of of meaning. I remember we were laughing and having so much fun, like being in the trenches. But how does a day look like now, bro, compared to those 14-hour days? I know you're in Bali now. How do you manage your days? You have a team around you now. How do you have to act differently with your responsibility with your team? And what do you do from when you get up to when you get to bed now?
Yeah, that's a good question. And yeah, dude, back in the days I was working, I remember I woke up, I went to the gym, I went back and I worked like literally all day. Like I ate like 2 meals the rest of the day, but I just worked all day. Now it's quite different. Now I take more time to actually reflect because I've really seen the importance of actually thinking, like just sitting in like a complete boring ass room and being bored and thinking is really valuable. So now like my day to day here on Bali, of course I work pretty late here on Bali because of time zone, but I wake up at like 9, 8:30. I go to the gym, I do ice bath sauna, I get some steps, some sun in, I read and I meditate. That's basically my morning routine. It takes about 3 hours maybe. I never rush it. I just like to take my time on it. 3 hours. I don't time it either. Because that's also what the lovely thing about being here is that we're 7 hours ahead of Norway, right? So no one is waking up anyways until like fucking 2, 3. So my day usually
Yeah,
starts.
Exactly.
My work day usually starts around 12 or 1, and then I'll have a 2 to 3 hour deep work block where I just plan out basically my day. Maybe I'll get some thoughts written down if I have anything. I'll do a deep work block, and then I usually have some meetings. So I have team meetings when people wake up back in Norway, client check-ins, around 3 hours of that. Then I usually have like a dinner break, 1 hour, and then I have meetings or deep work just the rest of the night. So I still work a lot, but it's like
yeah,
more relaxed work. It's like more in the morning routine. I'll have 3 hours to myself and read, and then I just work for 10, 12 hours the rest of the day. But it's more relaxed work. It's more okay. I'll write something. I'll have some meetings with the team. I'll have some meetings with the clients. I'll have some sales meetings. I'll have weekly calls in the programs, coaching calls. So it's a very
it's
I'm very happy with the place I'm at right now because I can actually take time to reflect. I can take time to fine tune my own skills as a mentor. I can take time to,
yeah,
because I've also seen that now that I'm, a mentor and a coach, the better I become at, sharing wisdom and knowledge, the better I am as a mentor and a coach, right? Of course, which just means that my product is better. So reading books is indirectly work because it makes my product better, right? So that's basically how my day look now, man.
I
We're
love
doing
what
a
you
lot of
said about
content
that
too, though. I
thing
didn't
with
mention that.
thinking. Yeah, I love what you said about thinking and decision making, because obviously you made that transition from very ruthless action taker to still action taker, but also a thinker, also a leader, someone with responsibility and students. And I think the importance of someone in that position taking the necessary time to think out the concepts that actually create the biggest change and difference for your clients, for your students, for your partners is such an underrated thing. And I've spoken to a lot of very prominent CEOs here in New Zealand after I got here, expanding my network, and we all came back to the same thing about their employees saying to them, "Oh, you're not doing anything, CEO role," but he's spending half of his time working very hard, and the second half of the time he is sucking up information and reflecting on actually what steps we're going to take, what's the innovative idea, how we're going to stay ahead, which is so underrated because on the outside looking in, it looks like you're doing more or less nothing. But that's the decisions that shape the organization from the top to the bottom. So I
yes.
really like what you said about that, bro. I think that's very important.
It's different work.
Yeah.
Like it's not. I don't see it as relaxed work because everything is about seasons. The first maybe year was a complete grind. You started from zero to where you are, where you were a couple months ago. So that is a grind to get the ball rolling. Now you're a coach, you have an info product, you're really good at marketing, you're starting your personal brand as well. So it's more different work. And if you want to become a good coach, you also need more information to learn from people that are extremely good. I do it myself. So it's more like different work. And it's very important that you adapt into the seasons, because if you don't adapt, if you keep doing the same thing over and over again, you just get stuck in the same wheel. So I think it's very important that you also taking the step to, yeah, you have a morning routine, but it sets you up for success. You have a good mind. Also, for people who don't know, if you have coaching calls all day, sales calls, all that, mentally you can get very exhausted because you're talking to different people. You get lots of input, especially as a coach. You need to treat every single student as they're the most important person in a room, and you cannot just be relaxed and not take responsibility. You need to be like ready. You need to bring them up, bring your energy into this, so of course you're providing more value to them. So it's very important that you have this recharging hours of the day. Of course, you sleep, but you also get the morning good. Do what you really enjoy, like the gym, ice bath, walking outside, because it makes you happy. When you're happy, you have good emotions, and the emotions will start to give you better thoughts, which will result in better actions, and it will result in your success, but also the students you have and the clothing brand you have. So I think it's really cool to see how you have changed from through the stages. I think that is what people can learn if they already started out. You need to change through the stages. But yeah, bro,
Yeah.
especially now with your routines, you have changed. And I see maybe a lot of people see the life in Dubai, the fast cars, everything is good. Oh, you reach success, but that's not really how the journey is. Like there's so much more to it. So, what is your best advice to young people who may feel lost and they're kind of stuck in the middle? Like, do we need to live the luxurious life in Dubai, fast cars, Lamborghinis, money, watches, or do we need to follow what the government says and pursue an education? And now they're just stuck in the middle. What is your best advice to them?
That's great. Great question, bro. I think if I had to give an advice, and a general advice, I would say just you have to start with your mind. You have to start with really getting to know yourself and really what you want to do, like really, really what you want to do. And now that I kind of reflect back on my journey and my start, it all started off with me just figuring out, okay, I know I have to do something else with my life. I know there's more to it. I know I have big dreams. I know there's a lot of stuff want to do, and I kind of figure out that I don't want to live this the typical 9 to 5 or 8 to 4 life, right? And if you feel like that a little bit, then you have to follow it. If you feel it just a tiny bit, you have to go in and just follow it. Follow that gut feeling and check it out, because the worst thing you can do is if you start living your life, you start, uh, fucking just living the life you don't want to live, and then suddenly you're 40 years old and you just look back and you're like, fuck, what should I even do, man? So if you just feel like a tiny little bit of like, oh, there's something I want to do, explore it. Because what's the worst thing that can happen? The worst thing that can happen is that you move back to your parents' house where you're already living right now, right? For me, I'm living now in Bali, I'm living in Dubai, I'm traveling around. What's the worst? I take risks every single day. Like I think I'm probably a bit reckless in some capacity because I'm so fearless in risks. But it's because I don't give a fuck to a certain extent. I'm like, yeah, as long as I take care of my team, it can go to shit with myself. I take investment risks, I take this and that personal risk, whatever, because I know what's the worst thing that can happen. I have an apartment paid down soon. I'm that's the worst thing that can happen. I have to live for free in Dubai in that apartment and whatever, or rent it out on Airbnb and live back on Norway with my parents. It's like, what's the worst thing that can happen, really? When you really dig it down like that, it's just go for your dreams, man, and just fucking chase it.
Definitely. I love that. I love every single second of what you just said, because we have so much fear, and I think it comes from our childhood, because as kids we were reckless. It was massive action. We just did things like didn't think about anything. We just get out there and see how it went. But unfortunately, we live in a society, I believe, that it tells us, oh, be careful about that. You may get hurt. And they just print like fear in our mind and our subconscious mind, which means that once we want to take action, let's say people want to start a business, oh, what's going to happen? Oh, what if I fail? What if this goes wrong? And I think it's super important that you take massive action, as you just said. Like, don't listen to people who have not achieved what you're trying to do. I think that is very important. Find people who have done exactly what you're doing. And if you don't know how to do it yourself, you need to find them. You need to find the people who can show you the way. They don't need to be like a billionaire. They only need like one or two answers more than you have right now. And that personally helped me a lot, both in fitness, but most importantly in business right now. I'm not a billionaire, but I'm not trying to be a billionaire. It's not my step yet. My next step is to just get to the next level
Yeah.
and find someone who has taken that step.
A fact that I read recently that I think you would appreciate, Seb, is that recently, like in neuroscience, they actually discovered a part of the brain that's called the anterior mid-cingulate cortex, which is a long noun. It doesn't mean anything, you know. It's just a name, but it's actually a part in your brain that they've discovered. The size depends a lot on the actions you take. So this part of your brain, it grows when you do things that you actually don't want to do, and it's larger in people that's dieting and that's in the gym, and it's smaller in people who are obese. And it's actually been found that you know it grows biggest for people who do stuff that they feel challenged and that they have to do, like you are an example for your students, you're an example for your partners. And they overcome it, and then it grows, it flares up, and it actually is associated with now neuroscience. It's data based on humans, not rats or horses or pigs. It's human data, which actually shows that the size of this thing is bigger in people that live longer, and they're now looking at it as not the source of willpower, but actually the source of the will to live, is to push through and do things you don't want to do. People can search it up. It's called the anterior mid-cingulate cortex. What's your reaction to that, bro? Because I personally think that it's something that is very human nature, that we have to push that ceiling. I mean, if a caveman, for example, he was trapped in snow, if he didn't hunt and do something he didn't want to do, he would just die, right? And it's the same human nature today. We have to push that ceiling and do things we actually don't want to do. And that's what gives us willpower to actually live. What's your reaction to that, bro? Because I know that's something you really emphasize.
Yeah, I think it makes total sense as well that it's like more okay. It's a willpower muscle, but it's also just the will to live, basically. Because when it comes to, like, let's say obese people, like they take the easy way out. Then if you go to a fucking line in McDonald's and you ask people, hey guys, do you think this is good for you? Everyone will say no, but they still fucking eat that shit. And it's because they fucking when it comes down to it, maybe they don't have as good of a will to live as the people that chose the salad or chose the hard thing today, because today's challenge is tomorrow, you know, what do you say, like fucking success or whatever. And it's like,
Yeah,
um, yeah, I definitely agree on that, and I think that's one of the reasons we do business and we want to push hard, is because we've all talked about it before, the three of us, like because we want to have security for our family, like financial security, stability for our family. We want to be able to take care of them, and it's because we want them to have a good and wealthy and good life, all right? And not just wealthy in money, but just wealthy in health, wealthy in experiences, wealthy in life, right? So I think, I definitely agree on that, man. And I think hopefully I'm training mine to become really fucking big so my head can grow a little bit too. And it's going to be great when that happens.
definitely. It's like a muscle. Like the more you train the ability to take risk and do the hard stuff and really do something good for yourself, the bigger it grows and the easier it is. The first time you do anything in life, it's always uncomfortable, it's always hard. You haven't got the chance to see the pattern, which means that everything is uncertain, especially if young people want to start a business or anything like that. Just do it over and over again. It just becomes so much easier, and you recognize that the fear that you feel is just because you haven't seen the pattern yet. Because young people may know exactly how to bike or something like even run, because the muscles, the body knows the pattern they need to take to be able to run. It's the same thing if you want to achieve a successful business or a six pack or even just an education. Once you see the pattern, it becomes so much easier. You know exactly what actions to take at the right time. So, as you said, it's all about like do it over and over again.
Yeah,
And
sure.
bro, also now we've been talking for a lot. We could go on for like hours, but I'm very excited because you're an action taker. So I know that you have your next 8, 10 steps in mind, probably already written down. So what does the future look like for you?
It's yeah, bro. I think I have like about 8 steps planned, right, as you just said. Of course, you can't reveal them all, but my immediate next steps is, of course, the main focus is scaling the info product. Just you know, helping as many as I can, getting people, getting the word out there really. Because I also think there's a lot of like bad info products out there, and I really wanna want people to just stop fucking with those. Rather come over to me, and I can actually teach you some real stuff. And there's a lot of like shitty people out there that do things, do it just they start info products because they want some money or of other things, and they never really got success in their agency. Maybe they got like fucking one client that took them to 20K per month, whatever, and then they just start an info product. And I really want to kind of shift the market a bit to actually, yeah, show people that it's actually possible and real. So that's my main goal is to scale the scale the info products. Of course, I'm still working on the agency and I'm gonna scale it too. I have goal of like number wise reaching 100K per month in the agency within the next 5 months. So that's the goal in the agency. Then of course the info product, I just wanna reach as many people as possible. Um, yeah, I'm also gonna take the e-commerce brand up a lot. Hopefully we can reach 100K per month in that too. That would be awesome. And that's like my main goals right now that I can also talk about here. That's actually out there, but I have some other stuff in plans that you can see if you follow along the next months. There's more and more stuff will come to light, and it's going to be really cool to launch more projects too.
Super exciting. I think Max and I are very excited to follow you, bro. We really appreciate the work you put in and how much quality you also bring to the table when it comes to info products. Because as you say, there are tons of coaches, info products who actually do it because of the back. Not going to mention any names at all, but we all know some of them. And I think it's so nice to see that and feel that you're just so passionate about people. You say your goal is to help more people. I've heard countless coaches and info products, their biggest goal is to make more money. That's what they say. And it just reveals the card. So I'm super happy that you're going to help more people, because if people want to, yeah, find you and actually get started with you, where can people find you?
Yeah, plug it all, bro.
Good question,
Plug
bro.
it all, because we need to know where we can follow along on this journey and where we can see your goals thrive and actually fulfill themselves. So when we get you back on here, because I think you're someone we expect to come back at some point, we want to be talking about what you've done. So where can people follow along if they're not going to wait until you get back on here?
Yeah, bro, you can follow me on Seb_Stroem on Instagram. I also have a YouTube channel that's just called Sebastian Strøm with a Ö. And yeah, I basically post on Instagram, I post on YouTube. That's my main platforms right now. I'm going to post a lot more. I also have a podcast, as we mentioned in the beginning. That's mainly based in Norway, but I also have actually my first first international episode there too. So yeah, we got that one going, and then my Instagram is mainly Norwegian. But those are the main two platforms you can follow me along. If you really want to start your own stuff, or if you just want to get in contact about anything at all, then my Instagram DMs are always open. Nevertheless, whatever it will be. You know, yesterday I answered a guy that was in my DMs about relationship advice. He asked me for it, so I answered him, of course, my takes on it. So anything you have questions about, anything at all that I can help you with, and send me a message, and I'm there for you.
That's good. That's really good. Maybe we'll do another episode for some relationship tips. That would be great. So,
I
but
don't
yeah,
know how
bro,
much I can help
thank
you
you
there,
so
bro.
much. Yeah, thank you so much for your time. It's been a pleasure. We could go on for probably a week or something like that, but I think let's keep it here. But yeah, huge pleasure and very inspiring to get to know your story, how you went from flipping burgers to yeah being an entrepreneur, living your dream life. Very very inspiring. And the most important thing,
Thank
you're
you so
still
much, man.
yourself. You're even more yourself. You're your true self right now, which I think it's absolutely cool. So it's been a huge pleasure, and yeah, also just stay tuned for this podcast. It's going to be massive because we're just interviewing a lot of inspiring people who have a very good rodeo. So also we have a special guest next week. We're not going to say that much right now, but he's also very inspiring and also quite successful. So it's going to be good. What do you say about that, Max?
Yeah, I'm looking so much forward to it. The next guest we're going to get on has some really, really valuable insights. We've also got another guest lined up about really growing your personal brand and becoming a content creator, and how you can actually start off by taking the first big step without having to feel the biggest imposter syndrome. Another thing that we haven't talked about today. We could go on. But yeah, it's been a real pleasure, bro. We really, really say it from our hearts when we say we appreciate you. This is the perfect first guest that we could have had on. For this is going to continue. We're going to get a lot of good people on. We're going to have you back on here to talk about all the things you told us you're going to do. Because you're really that guy. You're the guy that is humble. You're wholesome. You're honest, and you're a hard worker, man. So just keep doing what you're doing. And yeah, we'll get you back on here soon. But we look forward to joining you guys on the next episode as well. I don't have that much more, bro, Mikkel. I don't know if you have anything you want to add.
I just want to say thank you so much, guys, for having me on. It was a pleasure.
Very good. It truly was. Take care, guys.